Okay, welcome to the second YouTube vlog. I hope you enjoyed the first one if you watched it. If not, this is the second one. That was a bit self-explanatory. I apologise. But yeah, still find it a bit awkward doing these, to be honest. But we're going to try and make them work. Going to try and make them educational. Also help you just get inside my head. Or at least let me get some thoughts out to the world. So why not? Anyway, starting off with a leg session, which started with calves. Everyone absolutely hates calves. I particularly hate training calves. I think if you're gonna do them, I'd do them at the start of your workout instead of doing it at the end, just so that you actually put some effort into it and actually have some energy to actually put towards it. Otherwise, it's like, what is the point? The only other thing I might suggest is that you do them before any sort of squatting movement or leg press, so that you can get that added sort of added flexibility at the ankle, which will then carry over to your squats and help you get a bit more range of motion on those. But yeah, calf raises suck ass. Just make sure you are going to do them. If you're doing them, make sure you're doing them properly, right? So actually training to failure, and making sure you're spending time in that stretch position, because we know that is the most important position, particularly for calves, right? There is a study, I believe, that proved that. A study. Look at me, I'm a scientist. I think this will be the last rep. Looks like a bit of a grinder. Yeah. Obviously, you can throw in some lengthened partials at the end of your calf training as well. So then we move on to the lying leg curl. Now, starting out there with a nice little back crack. Looked like I was fondling my arse, but actually I was just cracking my spine. Notice I've got two big pads just below my hips to put my quads on. No, this isn't for comfort. This is for range of motion. Actually, no, it is for comfort. So when I first used this machine, I fucking hated it. It was feeling really awkward, particularly in my lower back. Felt super tight, and also just not very nice in my hamstrings. And I think it was just to do with the angle of my sort of hips, right? Or the angle of my spine compared to my hips. So by elevating my quads, I'm then bending over more at the hip, which means my back doesn't have to get as tight. It's weird. You'd have to try it. Obviously, you don't need to do this on all hamstring machines or leg curls, lying leg curls. Some of them you could try it on. Some of them are actually built better than this one. But yeah, it also gives you a nice benefit that it gives you more of a stretch at the bottom, and it kind of makes it easier at the top. Which is, again, potentially what we want for muscle growth, potentially, more of a bias towards the lengthened position and easier where your muscle is weakest in the short position. Nice, that was a good set. Right, deadlifts. So you're on YouTube and you're watching someone train straight leg deadlifts, these are. And you're thinking, right, well, this is obviously going to be really heavy because everyone on YouTube lifts really heavy. Well, unfortunately, I do not. I'll get the excuses out the way early. I've had back pain pretty much for the last 10 years. My left QL is the main culprit of that. And I've also had issues with my thoracic spine as well, like upper back. Seen multiple physios, blah, blah, blah. But just really struggled to make progress with deadlifts, and so I didn't do them very often. In fact, there was a period where I didn't do them for years. Anyway, long story short, started doing Jefferson curls, where you go super low and you let your spine round as much as possible. And actually that really helped me sort of develop a lot of confidence and strength in my spine and my back. So I did that to the point where I was doing 110 kilos, maybe 120, something like that, with these sort of Jefferson curl type deficit straight leg deadlifts. Absolutely loved them, but I found that it was really hard to progress them. Anyway, since working with my new coach, he suggested that I stop doing them like that, and I start focusing more on reducing the range of motion to potentially work more on the active range of the glutes and the hamstrings, but also to reduce a lot of like axial fatigue, which is funny because there's a balance to be had, right? Because you increase, this should allow me to lift more weight doing it with less range of motion, but which will in itself increase systemic fatigue, but it should put less of a fatigue on my actual spine and my whole body, because I'm not going all the way down. I used to get horrific DOMs in my hamstrings after doing the Jefferson curls, whereas now I don't get quite as bad DOMs. And the less DOMs you can get, the better, right? Because then you can train more frequently and with more intensity. So whatever you have to do to get less DOMs, I think you should try and do it. Anyway, this is me just building up to a heavy set. Back was feeling a bit dodgy because I had been helping gym staff the day before lift a load of concrete blocks up like 4 flights of stairs for half an hour, which I somehow got dragged into. To be fair, I did actually weirdly enjoy it, but my back felt a bit dodgy and my forearms are like, got the maddest pump, and then the following day they're still sore today. You also notice I'm using clips, which I don't normally recommend people do on deadlifts. I don't think it's necessary, but my coach has asked me to do that, so that's what I'm doing. When your coach tells you to do something, you do it, right? This is what you pay them for. You do what you're told. So this is like a potentiation set, or a feeder set, you could call it. So I'm almost at my working weight here. This is 120. And again, I'm still building confidence up with this type of movement. Weirdly, doing the less range of motion on these than what I'd done previously with the Jefferson curls, I actually felt so much less confident than I did letting my spine flex. So odd, man, how we are as humans. But yeah, so as much as this is baby weight for YouTube, I'm still like shitting myself before I do it. Notice I'm getting my wrist straps on there. Always wear your wrist straps when deadlifting. You know, we're not trying to train our grip, we're trying to train our hamstrings and our glutes, potentially our back. But yeah, so here we go. This is the top set and the only working set that I do. So this looks like 125 kilos. And the cool thing is, right, I'm deep into a deficit at the moment. So when I start massing again, which will be soon, and I'm going to mass probably until the end of the year, obviously let my coach make the decisions for me, but hopefully that's what we do. My dream and my plan is that by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, I'll be doing this with, I don't know, 4 plates aside, hopefully. Maybe that sounds like a lot of growth in a small amount of time, but you don't realize how badly I've trained for so many years. Now that I'm training well and I understand how much volume I need and how hard I need to train and how best to recover, you know, I think I can get strong really fucking quick on these once I'm in that surplus. Like I reckon I'll be looking to add like 1.25 kilos to either side of the bar sort of every 2 weeks. So I'm yet to work out the maths on that, but how much weight is that in over the course of a year? Someone tell me in the comments. Right, so now we've got the squat press, the Cybex squat press. I fucking love this machine. Really nice. It drops off in the lengthened position, which is at the bottom, and then it kind of gets really hard in the middle. So it's more of a glute focused machine, but I'm putting my feet in a kind of quad focused position by getting my feet low down the pad. Now, the reason I do that is kind of just preferential for me. Like, so again, going to talk about being old and being injured. I've had a lot of knee pain over the years, and I've recently discovered that actually bending my knee as much as possible, you know, taking that quad for a full stretch is the way for me to alleviate knee pain instead of just doing like half ROM, 90-degree squats and stuff. I need to bend the shit out of my knee to stretch it and to get strong in that stretch position. And then that seems to stop me getting knee pain. And it's something that I apply to a lot of my clients. You know, I think a lot of knee pain for a lot of people is just weakness in that stretch position. And people don't realize that. And so if you can get strong in that position, then you should. The trouble is, how do you do that? And it's not by doing body weight. You know, if you're a fairly heavy human and you're doing body weight squats, or at least barbell back squats, and you're trying to bend the knees as far as possible, like, you might struggle to do that for like 6 reps or something. So what you want to do is get yourself a leg press, get your feet super low, and go nice and light, high reps, and just build your way up slowly, build that resilience in that position. And then over time, you'll actually get strong. You've had to build some big fucking quads and hopefully not have knee pain. I think this is the working set. Yeah, it looks pretty hard. Yeah, this is pretty good. So this is 4 plates aside, so that's 105 kilos on either side, because these are 25s. Again, like, I would like to think by the end of the year, I could maybe chuck another 2 of those red ones either side after a bulk, after a massing phase. Grow myself some tree trunks. Not too fussed about the lumbar flexion on that either. Doesn't seem to be causing any issues. Okay, so Cybex leg extension. Here I've got my own belt, which I bring with me to the gym because I'm an absolute loser. But yeah, belt for more stability, wrist straps for more stability, absolute cuck for stability on this one. But I think if you can get these 2 things and you can use them without feeling like an absolute tool, then you should do it, right? If your goal is to train the quads as effectively as possible on this machine, then why wouldn't you want to be locked in? And then you can create more force. You can stop yourself from using like your hips and your lower back and your grip and all other things to move the weight, and just focus on using your quads. You notice the shin pad is a bit lower than where I'd normally have it on a leg extension. I usually tell people to bring it as high as possible, so it's as close to the knee joint as possible. Usually that would reduce the amount of shear force at the knee joint. But on this one, and on many leg extension machines, sometimes you find that actually that's really fucking sore on your shins. So I say have that shin pad as high as you can, but also in a position that's comfortable. So that's what I've done. I've kind of lowered it a little bit so it's comfy. And yeah, so we're trying to get the quads as short as possible here on this one, so I'm going as high as I can at the top. And then when I can't get to the top, that's when I'm basically going to end the set. Again, this is something I've been advised to do by my coach. He's very much still believes in training in the short position, which me personally, I'm not sure about, but I trust him because I see the results that he gets with himself and with his clients. And that's what you should do in your own coach, right? You're hiring this person, you're paying them, you should trust them to make decisions for you, and you should do what they say. Of course, you can fight back a little bit on certain things, and maybe you can come to an agreement, and then meet them halfway, and then you just want to get what's best for you. But at the same time, as an athlete, which I guess I can call myself that maybe, you want to be in that athlete mindset of like, right, coach tells me to do this, I'm going to fucking do this. And then you just get it done. And then it's like, you have nothing to worry about that way. You know, it's their job to do the worrying. That's what I tell my clients all the time. You know, if their weight's not moving, they don't need to worry about it. It's my job to worry and make the decisions. You just do what you're told. And that's what I'm trying to do and be a good client for my coach. This is the adductor machine. You can put this at the start of your workout. Really good way to warm up the hips. Definitely one that you shouldn't neglect, especially if you're a man, because a lot of men do neglect it. They think it's like the pussy machine or something. But it's fucking not. Like, really important muscles to stabilize the hips and the knee joint. So get on these. And then don't treat it like a little warm-up, stretchy pussy exercise. Get as heavy as you can. See, I've almost stacked this one, so I'll have to get a gym pin soon. And again, like, since I've started doing this, less knee pain, less back pain. So get on it. And who doesn't want big inner thighs? that you have to wear sports underwear every day, otherwise you chafe. Living the dream. And then lastly, we've just got a ab machine. Again, using the belt to lock in, using wrist straps to lock in. Two things you don't have to do, but you know, it just feels good, keeps me stable, means I can use the muscles I'm trying to use. Getting a really nice stretch here and then coming all the way down. Obviously abs are boring, so if you've clicked off this video, I don't blame you, but if you're still here, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, I hope you learned something. If you disagree with anything I said, please feel free to leave a comment. If you agree, please comment. Yeah, hope you guys are good, and I'll see you in the next one.